today I will compare Spectre with AtlasOS. Many people wrote me to review this custom version of Windows, and finally I decided to create a short comparison. Of course, some of you will say that this comparison it's not fair, because I'm comparing Spectre, which based on Windows 11, and AtlasOS, which based on Windows 10. In fact, I'm just comparing the latest version of this operating system. I want to note that today I will test Spectre Windows 11 Lite version without Microsoft Defender. Yep, I chose this version. Also, I will run both of this operating system in VirtualBox. So, let's get started. As you can see, AtlasOS takes up much more space than Spectre. It takes 22.7 GB, while Ghost takes half as much, only 11 GB of space. In Task Manager, AtlasOS uses 1.4 GB of RAM, while Spectre uses 1.2 GB of RAM. I do not see any serious differences between them, and sometimes AtlasOS used less RAM than Spectre, a close match for both of them. It should be noted that the processor loads more often in Spectre than in AtlasOS. Sometimes 7%, sometimes 15%, but this doesn't happen often. Nothing special if we look at the background processes, but if you look closely at the Windows processes, you can immediately notice that the code has much more of them, 70 Windows processes, and AtlasOS in this case has only 31 processes, so it is clearly the winner in this test. I would like to remind you that the operating system are tested under the same conditions. Plus, screen is being recorded, so the result will be fair enough. As you can see in CPU-Z, we have identical specs of processor, cores, threads, and base frequency. With the help of this program, we can see how many points the processor will score in multi-thread and in single-thread. In the end, Spectre did a better job than AtlasOS, scoring 1335 multi-core and 375 single-core. AtlasOS scored a bit less, but it did pretty well too. CPU Queen is very popular benchmark, and it is interesting because it allows you to compare the result of your CPU with other processors. There is not much to say because in this case the result is quite similar and I cannot choose a clean winner. Also, today I decided to include in the list of the tests the unzipping of the archive. After all, agree that you often have to unzip the archive, and many people can find this function quite useful. And again, even though Spectre was 1 second faster, it wouldn't be fair to give him the win for that, so I'll say both did great. The last test for today will be in Cinebench R15. I'm using a slightly older version, but even with this program we'll see if there is a big difference. So let's get started. As you can see, Spectre scored 10 points more than AtlasOS. I'm surprised that the results are quite similar because I expect to see a significant difference. But in the end, AtlasOS and Spectre did a great job. I want to know that I like the AtlasOS interface more, but this is my personal preference and it has nothing to do with performance. I also noticed one interesting thing. AtlasOS has a Microsoft Store from which you can easily download games and programs, but Spectre does not have this function. Although, who knows, maybe for someone it is a benefit. My conclusions. In terms of speed, they both are quite good. Very fast. Spectre takes up less space and AtlasOS uses fewer Windows processes. So which one is better to choose? Linux Ubuntu, of course. If this video was useful for you, please like it, and also I recommend watching this video where I compare AtlasOS and RaviOS.